You went to the
Two
finals
rings.
every year.
In
Shut
4
up,
years.
shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
Oh, this is a crispy, clear picture here.
Yeah, no. You always like when you get those. But Bradley Beal, guy's shooting 52% from the field, 37% from three, averaging like 23 a night. You got Kyle Kuzma. Also, Kristaps Porzingis is having arguably the best season of his career, statistically advanced stats. Every stat, best season of his career, and he wasn't an all-star. The only stat that he isn't having like a career high is blocks. And he's still almost averaging
the
two.
All-Stars, it's all broken.
But
I don't know.
But the thing is Kristaps is playing like a bona fide top 10 big man in the NBA right now, and he's even a passer and everything. I mean,
Future Bowl?
No, we've talked about this. Kyle Kuzma and Kristaps Porzingis are not leaving DC. DC's a top 10 place to live. There's no other team in the league that always. Okay, if we list up there, DC's a top 10 place to live, closer to 10 than one.
Culture in Washington, D.C.
DC's a nice place. Georgetown, bro. If you got money, these boys are probably living like in Georgetown, upscale, nice house places. Like they're living nice. Like if you have money and you live in DC, you're living in some nice places. All right, hanging out in some nice areas. And that's the other thing. No other team is going to give them the marketing, the let them be franchise cornerstones, give them the touches, give them the money. It just makes sense. It's the best opportunity for them. And I think, and also they make Bradley Beal better. Bradley Beal is probably going to do everything in his power because Bradley Beal is having the most efficient season of his career. And Eric White, you're funny. You're funny. That's a good joke. I actually lived in Maryland. A mile away from my house is an old nuclear silo from the 50s. It's like gated off, but we used to go in the woods and play, and like it's a silo because like my town was like one of the towns that if like nukes were shot, like a nuke would have been shot out of my town.
Nice.
Yeah, isn't that cool? But what are your thoughts on this team? And I know you're going to go play-in team, but we've said it before. The goal, at the very least, was to be a play-in team this season. We were one of the few teams that we were trying to aim for the play-in.
Yeah, well, I think Washington's in a really good spot right now because when Brooklyn falls to either the 7th or the 8th seed, Washington is only a game outside of Atlanta, and Atlanta hasn't been able to figure it out all year. Neither is Toronto. So, I mean, they're coming off a win from last night. Shout out Daniel Gafford, and yeah, Beal had a great game. DeLon Wright has been freaking money, like literally money. And if you can get that 7 or 8 spot and play Brooklyn, you're going to have a 7-game series, and that would be huge for the Washington Wizards. And yeah, KP's having a great year. Kuzma's having a great year. Last night was goofy because I don't know if you saw, like, Kuzma shot a 3, turned around and like did this, to the crowd, to his I think it was right to KP, and he missed it. He missed the offensive board, and that was really goofy. But
no other team would let Kuzma do that.
He shouldn't be doing that because
I know.
Went right to him and he didn't get it, and then it led to a fast break. But I don't. You gotta have fun with it.
That's funny, Eric. I didn't know. My folks live in Phoenix, Jacksonville, near Boston, right over on the Baltimore County line. So you're from Hartford. He's from 25 minutes away from where I live. If you guys are watching, we have 22 people watching. Hit that like and subscribe button, guys. We're live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And we do clips of the show if you miss it. And we're on all streaming services. We're not a podcast. We're an internet NBA show. But, hey. So let's get right into it. And I think right here, when you look at this team, it's built in the middle. I think this season is another example of the Wizards. They're looking at the roster, and I think big moves will be made for the team this coming off season in terms of we have the guys, Kuzma, Porzingis, Gafford, Beal, DeLon Wright, Kespert, Denny Avdia. All right. And when you look at those guys, also people can say whatever they want about Denny Avdia. The Wizards have spent time developing him, and they're very fond of him, and they want to see that project through, is from what I've been told and what I've heard. And Monte Morris is here too. But if you think about it, the 7 guys that I mentioned, all right, are the guys that I expect to be there next year. Then the rest of the guys, some of them are expiring contracts, and the others have contracts that I think should be considered to be moved, as this is a team that shouldn't be interested in drafting, really. They should be interested in more and moving, in moving up the standings. And that means guys like Isaiah Todd, Jordan Goodwin. I mean, maybe they keep Jordan Goodwin. I like Jordan Goodwin. Anthony Gill, Isaiah Todd, Johnny Davis, Wood, and Monte Morris are all guys that I would look to or deem expendable. And I think that's what they'll go out, like here Eric White said, look for a starting level point guard. Maybe they go out and get a Tyus Jones. Maybe they go out and get I don't even know. I mean, if they can get themselves an average or, like a guy like Tyus Jones and then bring in John Wall as the backup, that's a pretty decent point guard rotation right there. And you still have Jordan Goodwin as the third guy. Not bad. Do you think like this team, if they keep the 7 guys that I said, and then they, are able to somehow bring better players where some of those 7 guys go down in the pecking order, do you think that would help raise this team's floor?
Yeah, sure. I agree with starting point guard, Monty. I know he's been injured. DeLon will have those nights where he'll go completely off from downtown, but he's still great. I really like DeLon Wright. I think he's like, 25 point per game, 25 minute per game player. He's going to get you a ton of steals. He's going to get you boards. He's going to get you assists. And then some nights he's going to go off from downtown. But yeah, if they could lock in a legitimate starting point guard, they're going to get crafty. I wonder who it's going to be. I like Monty. I like DeLon Wright, but,
I would love for them to keep Monty, because if they could get an actual, like, if they get Tyus Jones, I would love Monty Morris to be Tyus Jones' backup, or
Dude,
if they.
That would be a Tyus Jones and somebody finally gives him a starting role would be awesome.
Yeah, and Tyus is
a great move.
He's only making 15, so if you.
Wow.
And like Isaiah Todd and Anthony Gill combined together, that's about $4 million. You throw in, Johnny Davis, that's 9. And DeLon Wright and Monte Morris are both under contract. So if you do, Johnny Davis, Anthony Gill, Isaiah Todd, and DeLon Wright, where you send DeLon Wright to the Grizzlies and Johnny Davis, Gill, and Todd packaged to another team, and they send assets to the Grizzlies, and the Grizzlies send you Tyus Jones. Now you've turned DeLon Wright, Johnny Davis, Anthony Gill, and Isaiah Todd into a Tyus Jones, Monte Morris, Jordan Goodwin point guard rotation.
Sounds a little like a dream to me.
It is a bit of a fever dream, and I'll admit it just becomes hard because when you look at this, who's a guy who's going to be available that's a point guard that's making, is like Derek White going to be a guy that you want? I don't think Derek White's a guy you want to be your starting point guard. No offense to him. Do you go out and get Colin Sexton? Is Markelle Fultz going to be available?
Ooh.
And Tyus Jones is only making 14 next year, and he's an expiring, so I think he'd be cheaper.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think he'd be cheaper than people are giving him credit for. So for me, I think that's definitely a deal that could be possible. And also, listen to this: Cam Thomas has had a DNP last night and only played 7 minutes in the other 2 games.
It's such bullshit. It's so stupid. I get it, Jacques Vaughn. I understand it. You have to play winning basketball. I just think it's such a big mistake. I really do.
So I want to pull up
like 3 or 4 straight 40-point games, and now you're getting DNPs. It's like, it's like a Kemba Walker situation for that 1 week.
It is
Kemba Walker. He's actually like your future, like part of your future. He could be your franchise player, and he could be your franchise trifecta with Nick Claxton and Mikal Bridges and a complimentary Cam. You got Cam Johnson, and Cam could be special. He is special, and I hope they don't blow it.
Yeah, no, I mean, we all hope that they don't blow it.